Good afternoon, dear students. Today we are discussing the tutorial sheet 12 for the course Math F113 Probability and Statistics. So there are four questions in tutorial sheet 12. So let us start with the first one. So tutorial sheet 12 based on the linear regression. The flow rate Y in meter cube per minute in a device used for air quality measurement depends on the pressure drop X in a inch of water across the device filter. Suppose that X value between 5 and 20, the two variables are related according to simple linear regression model with true regression line y is equal to minus 12 plus 0.095x. What is the expected change in the flow rate associated with 1 inch increase in pressure drop? So when there is the increase, when there is increase in the value of x by 1 inch, then what will be the change in the y? They are asking this thing. So it's simple. It is equal to the beta 1, right? Because this is the constant, so it will be the subtracted from the old new minus. When we do the new minus old to to determine the change, so this constant will cancel out. So we have only the 0.95 into 1, because difference is 1 inch, so it is the 0.95 into 0.095 into 1, so it is equal to the beta 1. So beta 1, the expected change in flow rate y associated with 1 inch. So due to the 1 inch, it is the beta 1. Otherwise it will be the beta 1 into means some other value 0.095 into whatever the difference. Increase in increase in pressure drop x. So beta 1 is given to you as a 0.095. So that will be the change in the flow rate. Now, in the second part, what change in flow rate can be expected when the pressure drop decrease by the 5 inch? When the pressure drop decrease in by the 5 inch means it is the 5 inch. It is the 5 inch. So what will be the value of the 5? So that is the beta into beta 1 into 5. So here it will become the beta 1 into 5. So uh, beta 1 is given to you as a 0.095. So its value will be the 0.475. So we expect flow rate to decrease by this much amount. Then in the third, what is the expected flow rate for the pressure drop of 10 inch? So when we take the this x as a 10 inch, at that time we have to compute what will be the flow rate drop of the 15 inch. In its other part, we have to compute the drop of the 15 inch. So here we have to compute the mu of y when x is equal to 10. So just in the regression line formula, it will become minus 0.12 plus 0.095 into 10. So that you will get the new flow rate. Similarly, we have to compute the uh, estimated flow rate when x is equal to 15. So mu y when x is equal to 15 will be the minus 0.12 plus 0.095 into 15. So it will become 1.305. So that will become the flow rate when x is given to you as some uh, means pressure drop is given to you as a 10 inch or 15 inch. Suppose sigma is equal to 0.025 and consider the pressure drop of 10 inch. What is the probability that observed value of the flow rate will exceed. So when the pressure drop of the pressure drop is 10 inch, at that time we have to compute the probability probability that the observed value of the flow rate will exceed. Means pressure or flow rate greater than the 0.835, that observed flow rate will exceed the 0.840. So in this case, what we are claiming, that y greater than 0.835. So uh, if you do minus mu upon sigma, so it convert into the standard normal distribution z. So z greater than 0.835 minus 0.830. So for the 10 inch, already we have computed the mean, right? Already we have computed the mean as a 0.830. So here we have the 0.835 minus 0.830, and standard deviation is given to you. Standard deviation is given to you as a 0.025. So when it is given to you, so here it on solving it will come 0.20. So probability of the z greater than 0.20. So from table its value will be the 0.4207 from table. So that will be the required probability. In the same question, they have asked what will be the value or probability when y greater than 0.840. So just instead of the 0.835, we write the 0.840. So here we have the z greater than 0.840 minus 0.830 upon 0.025. So it will come z greater than 0.40. That is from table its value will be the 0.3446. Now, in the last part of the question number one, it is asked what is the probability that an observation on flow rate when pressure drop is 10 inch will exceed the observation on the flow rate made when pressure drop is 11 inch. So they are asking what will be the probability that observation on the flow rate on pressure drop, right, will pressure drop when pressure drop of the 10 inch is made, so it exceed the flow rate when pressure drop we made as a 11 inch. So in this question, we assume let flow rate when drop is 10 inch as a y1, and flow rate when pressure drop is 11 inch as a y2. So let y1 and y2 denote uh, pressure drop for flow rate of 10 and 11 respectively. So it is given to you for the mu y for x is equal to 10, already we have computed as a 0.830. And in the same fashion, when we compute for the x is equal to 11, so mu y at x is equal to 11 will come the 0.925. So when we compute y1 minus y2, so y1 minus y2 has expected value is equal to, so y1 already we have seen when x is equal to 10. So it is the 0.830, and mu at x is equal to 11 will be the 0.925. So y1 minus y2 will come 0.830 minus 0.925, that is minus 0.095. And standard deviation is the positive square root of the variance. So variance for the y1 minus y2, variance for variance for y1 minus y1 minus y2 will be the variance of y1 plus variance of y2, and variance will be the square of the square of standard deviation, and standard deviation for y is given to you as a 0.025. So here we have the 0.025 square plus 0.025 square for the y1 and y2. So its positive square root will give you sigma for the y1 minus y2 as 0.035355. So in this case, they are asking that what is the probability that pressure drop uh, uh, pressure drop due to the 10 inch and pressure drop due to the 11 inch. So it exceed the pressure drop due to the 11 inch. So we have to compute probability y1 greater than y2, or we can say probability of the y1 minus y2 greater than 0. So we have seen we have already computed the mean of y1 minus y2 and variance of the y1 minus y2. So when we subtract the mean and divide by the standard deviation, left hand side will become the z, and right hand side will be the 0 0 minus mean already we have computed as a me- uh, mean we have computed as a minus of 0.095. So 0 minus of minus 0.095 divide by the standard deviation of the y1 y2. So you will get the z probability of the z greater than 2.69. So from table, this value is equal to 0.0036. This value is equal to 0.0036. So that is the required probability. So in this question, this question based on the linear regression, here we have seen we can compute the expected change in the dependent variable for the particular value of the independent variable. So that independent variable is the random in nature. So that's why we are computing the expected value of the output variable. Then different kind of the probability is asked in this question. Let us move to question number 12. The article, some field experience in the use of an accelerated method in estimating 28-day strength of concrete, published in Journal of American Concrete Institute in 1969 on page 895, considered regression y regressing y is equal to 28-day standard cured strength psi against x, the accelerated strength psi. Suppose the equation of the true regression line. So here the regression line is given to you as y is equal to 1800 plus 1.3 x. So here x is the independent variable and y is the dependent variable. When the x is the random variable, when x is the random variable, so this y will be the expected value. So what is the expected value of 28-day strength when accelerated strength will be the 2500? So in this case, x is given to you, right? This x and this is nothing, this is the x. So we have to compute the expected value of the y for the particular value of the x. So mu y means expected value of the y when x is equal to 0 will become 1800 plus 1.3 into x is equal to 2500. So it will come 5050. Then in the part 2, by how much can we expect 28-day strength to change when accelerated strength increase by 1 psi? So when we have only the change in the x, so when we have the change in x, so change in y will be the beta 1. Whatever this beta 1, that will be the change in the yi. So expected change Expected change is nothing, that is the slope. So in this question, in this we represent by the beta 1, so it is the 1.3. For the unit change in the independent variable, we will get the change in dependent variable by the amount, whatever the value of the slope. Now in the third part, suppose that standard deviation of the random deviation, uh, s- s- epsilon is 350 psi. Let y1 y2 denote the observation on 28 day strength when x is equal to x1 and x is equal to x2 respectively. So this is given to you as a expected observation for the given strength. By how much would x2 have to exceed the x1 in order probability of y2 greater than y1 is equal to 0.95. Means y2 should be should exceed the y1. Its chance is the 0.95. So here, so it is as similar to the previous question. So in this case, we compute the mean and variance for the y2 minus y1. When we are saying that y2 greater than y1, right? Y2 greater than y1. So it is exactly the same. We are saying that y2 minus y1 greater than 0. So on both side, what we have to do, we have to subtract the mean and divide by the standard deviation of y2 minus y1, mean of y2 minus y1. So first we have to compute the standard deviation and the mean of the y2 minus y1. So variance of y2 minus y1 is what? It is the, by, because variance follow the linear property, so variance of y2 plus variance of y1, and variance for the output is given to as a 3500 350. In question, the variance is given that it is given as 350. So this will become 350 plus it is 350 is the standard deviation. So its square will be the variance. So here we have the 350 square plus 350. So it will become the 245000. So its positive square root will give you the standard deviation. So standard deviation will come 497.97. Then we compute the mean of y2 minus y1. So y2 minus y1 will be what? So e of y2 minus e of y1, right? So this will become, and this can be written as e of y2 minus e of y1, that is the mu y2 minus mu y1 when x is equal to x is given. So here when x is equal to x2 and x is equal to x1 respectively. So from the given linear equation, it will become 1800 plus 1.3 x2 minus 1800 plus 1.3 x1. So it will become 1.3 into x2 minus x1. So when we have to compute probability of the y2 minus y1, y probability of y2 greater than y1, so it can be equivalent to, or it is equivalent to probability of y2 minus y1 greater than 0. So on both side we subtract by the mu of mean of y2 minus y1 and divide by the standard deviation of mu2 minus y1. So it will become probability z greater than 0 minus point 1.3 into x2 minus x1 upon standard deviation. So standard deviation is the point 474 point or 494.97. So its value will be the point 0.095. So this implies that, so and for this value we know that minus 1.3 means 0.95 is for the 1.645. So here minus 1.3 into x2 minus x1 upon 474.97 will equal to the minus of 1.645. So this will give you x2 minus x1 is equal to 626.33. So that is the, here they have asked how much the x2 should exceed the x1 so that probability of y2 greater than y1 is equal to 0.95. So here we have the required result. Now, in the question number 3, we have the following data: rainfall and rain of volume. So, whatever the rain is means rainfall we have in volume, and how much we that runoff means that runoff to the river or to the sea or to the ocean. So, and how, difference will be the absorbed by the earth. So here we have the data. So when we plot this data, right? So here we have the scattered data of runoff volume against the rainfall volume. So here this data are from the article characterization of highway runoff in Austin, Texas area, published in Journal of Environmental Engineering 1998 on page 131 137, gave the scatter plot along with least square line of x, a rainfall volume in meter cube, and y, the run of volume in meter cube for the particular location. The accompanying value were read from the plot. So if you see this plot, so this plot is a scattered plot in rainfall and run off, right, in meter cube. So here you can see that all the data are near to the regression line, near to the regression line. So thus the scatter plot of the data support the use of the simple linear regression, because we can observe from the figure that we, all the observation are near to the line, so it is suitable for the linear regression. So yes, the scatter plot shows a strong linear relation between rainfall volume and run of volume. Means if we have the more rainfall, then we have the more runoff. Thus it supports the use of the simple linear regression model. Then in the second, calculate the point estimate of the slope and intercept of the population regression line. So here we have to determine the regression line, and from that you have to write the what is the slope and what is the intercept of that regression line. So here, so first we have to compute the deviation on the x, deviation on the y, and deviation on the both. So sxx will come 63040 minus 798 square upon 15, that you can determine from the given observation. So it is equal to 20586.4. Similarly, s by y will be the 14 14,435.7 and SXY is equal to 17,024.4. So from here you will get the slope beta 1 as a SXY upon SXX. So it will come 0.82697 and intercept at y will come, we denote it by the beta naught cap. So it is equal to 442.867 minus 0.82697. So its value will be the minus 1.1278. So these value you can compute by making the normal equation also, right? So from the normal equation also you can determine the same thing. So the equation of regression line, or you can say mu of y for the given x, will become beta naught plus beta 1 into x. So here in the part third it is asked what calculate the point estimate of the true average of runoff volume, means expected runoff volume when the rainfall volume is given to as a 50. So when the rainfall, there is a rainfall of 50 meter cube, so what is the what is the expected runoff? So just you put in the regression line. So it will become minus 1.1278 plus 0.82697 into 50. So that will give you 40.2207. So if in the locality there is the rainfall is 50 meter cube, then 40.2207 will be the runoff. Then we have to compute the, in the fourth part, calculate the point estimate of the standard deviation of the sigma. Means you have to compute the or you can say standard error. Standard error is nothing, it is the sum of square of error, which can be determined as s by y minus, means it measures just what is the projected value and what will be the actual value. The difference of that we termed as a error. So s by y minus beta 1 cap into sxy. So all the value you have, beta 1 cap you have, sxy you have, and syy. So this will come 357.07. Then after, in the part fifth, what proportion of the observed variation in runoff volume can be attributed to simple linear regression between runoff and rainfall? Means here you have to compute the coefficient of determination. Coefficient of determination. So if the coefficient of determination is near to exactly 1, then we say we have the exactly linear relation. When we have is equal to 0, then we say there is no linear relation. And when we say when we have the near to 1, then we say error is it follow the linearity, but there is some error, and that error is less. So uh, in this case the coefficient of determination we denote by the r square. So r square is equal to 1 minus ssc upon sst. So it will become 1 minus 357.07 upon 14435.7, that is the 0.9753. So when we have the 0.9753, so here you can see it is the near to the 1. So from the figure also it is visible that whatever the regression line and all the scattered plots are nearby. right? Whether you draw the regression line or you observe the scattered point, so you will find that they are nearby. So if they are nearby, it means we can conclude that they follow the linear property. So here we can have the conclusion. So 97.53% of the observed variation in runoff volume can be attributed to the simple linear regression relationship between runoff and rainfall. So whatever we are giving the estimated value of the runoff from the given equation for the particular rainfall. In 97% cases, it is as same as what we are expecting. Now let us move to last question. Question number 4. Suppose that instead of the model yi is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 xi plus epsilon I is equal to 1 to n. We wish to fit the model of the form. So instead of taking the linear regression, we have the linear sum modified regression. So yi is equal to beta naught star plus beta 1 star into xi minus xi var plus epsilon for I is equal to 1 to n. What are the least square estimator of beta naught cap and beta naught star and beta 1 star, and how do they related to the beta naught cap and beta 1 cap? So instead of the simple linear regression or normal equation, we are taking the little modified one, and we have to check, right? We have to determine the unknown coefficients. So we wish the beta b naught and b1 to minimize. So we define the, means when we apply the least square method. So here for that we have to define the function in terms of the b naught and b1 as summation yi minus b naught plus b1 into xi minus x bar whole square, means observed value minus minus actual value, and if you take their difference square and then we take the sum, so that is the least square. Now we have to minimize this, so due to the minimize we have the least of square of the error, right? Of the error means actual value and projected value. So when we compute the del fy, del b naught, and del fy, del b1, and equate to 0, we will get the normal equation. So what is the normal equation? Nb naught plus b1 summation of in general summation of xi is equal to summation of yi. And second normal equation will be the n b naught summation of xi plus b1 summation of xi square is equal to xy. So in the same pattern, here we are writing instead of the x, we are writing the xi minus x bar. So here we have the, when we compute the del fy del b naught and del fy del b1 and equate to 0, it will give you n b naught plus b1 summation of xi minus x bar, and xi minus x bar is equal to 0. So here you will get the nb naught is equal to summation of y. So b naught will come summation of yi upon n, that is the y bar, average value of y, average value of y. And the second normal equation will come b naught summation of xi minus x bar plus b1 summation of xi minus x bar whole square. So here, if this is it is given to you, it is 0. It is 0. So here it will come b1 summation of xi minus x bar whole square, and that right. So in this case, since xi minus x bar is equal to 0, so that will give you b naught is equal to y bar summation of yi upon n. And here we have summation of xi minus x bar into yi. So if you do here, if you subtract the zero in this, there is no problem. So here it will become summation of xi minus x bar into y into yi plus 0, and that 0 can be it can be written as it can this is equal to summation of xi minus x bar into yi minus yr. Why it is so? Because summation of xi minus x bar into yi plus 0 will give you, right, and this 0 can be written as xi minus x bar. So here you will get the y cap. Here you will get the y bar summation of xi minus x bar, So on solving these two normal equation, you will get the b1 is equal to beta 1 cap and b naught is equal to y bar. B naught is equal to y bar. So that is the required solution for the fourth question in tutorial sheet 4. So that's all in tutorial sheet 12. So there are total 4 questions. So all we have done. So best of luck for the forthcoming comprehensive examination. Thank you.